students, with you Iman Gad, the teacher of science for break 3. Today we are going to apply a revision on break 2 that's related to break 3. It's called light reflection. Okay, what's meant by light reflection? When it catches this ball and drops it strongly, it returns back in the other side. That's what happened to light when it falls on a shiny reflecting surface like plain mirror. So, light reflected on a reflecting surface. Suppose this line is a reflecting surface. Like mirror. Light falls with this angle. We need to determine the direction of the arrow that falls in this direction. What happens when we drop the light ray from this direction? We will change it. So the light will move in this direction. This is called incident light ray. What happens to light when it falls on the reflecting surface at point of incidence? It rebounded or rebounds or returning back to the other direction. So it's called reflected light ray. From the point of incidence, we must have a perpendicular line on a reflecting surface called normal. Okay, what's this angle called? It's called angle of incidence. And this angle is called angle of reflection. The definitions of all these scientific terms is simple and easy. Okay, we can make a question or suggest a question. The angle between incident light ray and normal is called angle of incidence. The angle between reflected light ray and normal is angle of reflection. So you need just imagination to watch what the scientific term means in this drawing. Okay. Light reflection is governed by two laws. Laws of reflection. First law, angle of incidence must be equal angle of reflection, and the relation between them directly, as if the angle of incidence equal 20, so angle of reflection equal 20. Angle of reflection equal 40, so angle of incidence equal 40. So angle of incidence equal angle of reflection. And the relation between them is directly. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection. The question in the exam will be like, okay, suppose this figure, this angle is 8. So angle of incidence equal, it can be divided into the two angles, so angle of incidence equal 40, angle of reflection equal 40. Another question. The angle of incidence equal 30. So angle of reflection equal 30. And the summation of them equal 60 degree. Okay, this is the first law. So first law, angle of incidence must be equal angle of reflection at any reflection of light. The second law, look and pay attention. What happens if we try to measure the angle from the reflecting surface at normal at each side? This angle equal 90, right angle, and this angle equal 90. right angle. So, incident light ray, reflected light ray, and the normal from point of incidence all lie perpendicular to reflecting surface at the same direction. This is the second law. And it's not mentioned many times in our exam, so but you need to focus on this law, but it's not important for exams. Because the second law is incident light ray, reflected ray, and normal all lie perpendicular on reflecting. The most important question is what happens when light falls perpendicular on a reflecting surface. Before we can think, we need to remind you that angle of incidence is the angle between incident light ray and normal. The reflected light, the angle of reflection is the angle between reflected light ray and normal. What happens when light falls perpendicular? When it falls perpendicular, it will be congruent to the normal. So, angle of incidence equal angle of reflection equal 0. So, what happens to the light ray? It will be reflected on itself. So, it's a very important question in Prep 3 and Prep 2. So, you need to focus on this question. Reflecting surface. This is normal. What happens when light falls in this direction? It will be reflected to the other direction, and the angle of incidence equal angle of reflection equal 0. Take care. If you forgot this 0, the answer will be wrong. So give reason. The incident light ray reflected on itself when it falls perpendicular, because angle of incidence equal angle of reflection. وstop, it will be not calculated. مش هتتحسب لك الإجابة. So we need to say angle of incidence equal angle of reflection equal 0. Okay, here we are again with a very special question for special students. Complete the following statement. If the angle between reflecting surface and incident light ray is 40, so the angle of reflection is, this question depends on your imagination. Don't ever try to answer this question with thinking or without drawing. So let's get started with a simple drawing. Okay, the question is called the angle between reflecting the surface and the incident light ray is 40. So, angle of reflection, where is the angle of reflection? Angle of reflection here is here. So, what is the relation between this figure? The normal and reflecting surface make 90 degrees. So, the angle of incidence equal angle of reflection, we need to minus 90 minus 40 to obtain angle of incidence and equal angle of reflection with value 50 degrees. And the remainder of the question, and the angle between incident light ray and reflected ray, we need all these values equal 100 degrees. So when you try to answer such a question, try to draw with a pencil in a very small area to imagine the relation between incident light ray and reflecting surface. The word reflecting surface is the trick, the trap to answer the question wrongly. The second question, and a very famous question in exams, choose the correct answer. The angle of reflection is 0, 40, 50, 90, or 0. This light ray falls perpendicular, so it reflects on itself. So angle of incidence equal angle of reflection equal 0. Some people or some students say it's 90. No way, it's not 90. Okay. The second question, the angle of reflection is the same idea of such a complete question. We need to minus 90 minus 30. So angle of incidence equal angle of reflection equal 60. Okay. Thank you for watching and thank you for following. You can follow our page on Facebook to answer the question of the paper sheet. Thank you.